Every night, I dream the same dream. And then... the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do. To protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! To become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
Welcome back, everyone. This will be my full Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer video for the Super Bowl. They just released a bunch of new footage confirming X-Men in the MCU now through the multiverse. Patrick Stewart's Professor X is officially back. Should we tell him the truth?
Mild shock.
There's so many things to talk about, so many Easter eggs, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, I'll be doing videos for all the other Super Bowl trailers that Marvel and everybody else releases. I'll just start with the good stuff first, all this multiverse X-Men stuff they're bringing into the MCU. The big thing here is they confirmed that they're doing a multiverse version of the Illuminati with a bunch of variants, so they're just basically using the multiverse explainer for some of the core X-Men characters in the MCU. The whole idea here is that when Baron Mordo in the trailer says, your crimes against reality can't go unpunished, he arrests him, we actually find that he's a version of Mordo. Either he's the MCU Mordo or he's a variant who's on that multiverse Illuminati team, but he's the one that cuffs him in those special cuffs and takes him to face the Illuminati. Now, they don't reveal everybody that's on that team, all the variants that we're going to see from different universes, but there's 6 chairs, so that means there's 6 members of the Illuminati in the MCU now. We know Patrick Stewart's Professor X is one of them, and this version of Baron Mordo is another one, so there are 4 other members. In the comics, the other core members were Iron Man, Black Panther, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, a version of Captain America, Black Bolt, Namor, and Doctor Strange himself. There were rumors that an Iron Man variant was going to appear in the movie, played by a different actor, so he could be one of these other members. Pretty high likelihood now. There were rumors that John Krasinski was going to have a cameo scene as a variant of Reed Richards from another universe. He could be one of the other members. There's still 2 other spots, and we know that Namor is supposed to be a big villain in Black Panther too, so Namor could be one of the other members. And then the last chair could actually be a multiverse version of Black Bolt. There have been rumors that they would somehow reference the Inhumans, so if you're really hoping that they redo a good version of the Inhumans in the MCU, this is your best chance. Also, for those of you wanting them to do a live-action version of Captain Carter from What If, her shield appears in the poster for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness they just released a couple minutes ago, so that confirms she's going to be in the movie. She could also be one of the other members of this Illuminati team. The other big thing here is that it looks like they've taken over Ultron's technology because it's these Ultron bots that are escorting Doctor Strange to face the Illuminati, but they look like completely different versions of Ultron robots. We have to assume that this version of the Illuminati from the multiverse is way more OP than the original comic book version, but the comic book version was meant to be like the final say of all the most powerful Marvel superheroes coming together to deal with the biggest problems affecting Earth. So if this multiverse version is more powerful than them, it would just be absolutely crazy. Either way, I'm sure that Deadpool will have something to say about this, because we know Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is coming into the MCU. He's just like the other big multiverse version of the character from the Fox Marvel universe that we know is coming back. There'll probably be others too that they'll reference. We also have a confirmed Scarlet Witch variant in the trailer and confirmed Scarlet Witch villain. So our MCU Scarlet Witch seems like she's the one that's playing the villainous role here.
I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
There are a bunch of different realities too when they're intercutting with this dialogue, so I'll try to point out when we're in different universes, because everything is kind of bleeding together and you have Doctor Strange and America Chavez just going through a bunch of different realities. But rewinding to the beginning of the footage, Doctor Strange talks about waking up every night having the same nightmare, and it sounds like reality is collapsing, and it has something to do with what happened at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. But when he says, I did what I did in order to save our reality, and you see him messing with chaos magic in the Darkhold, that's what this book is, in all these different spheres where he's weaving this spell. It seems like those different spheres represent different universes, different versions of Earth. And it sounds like he's weaving this spell to try and fix any lasting, lingering effects of what happened at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, with reality breaking down around them because of the spell going wrong. But they say that whatever he did with chaos magic opened the door to the multiverse. They don't know what's going to come through. Wanda, obviously Scarlet Witch, going to be one of the big villains of the film. There is a version of Shumagorath that they're calling Gargantos in the film, but I think we're all in agreement that they're really going for Shumagorath energy with this creature here. There's also a really hardcore looking magical being who's going after America Chavez, forcing her to open portals behind her to other universes. I think I know what's going on with that. I'll talk about it in a second. But you see Doctor Strange himself, when he's talking about his nightmare, he's walking through a bunch of different versions of sanctums. You see reality bleeding around him. It looks a lot like the What If Doctor Strange episode where Doctor Strange Supreme goes completely off the rails and winds up just completely foobarring his entire reality to try and bring Christine Palmer back. But you see him walking through a couple different versions of sanctums here. These seem like the sanctums that belong to some of these other Doctor Strange variants that we see. So we have our Doctor Strange, we have Doctor Strange Supreme, or Evil Doctor Strange, however you want to think about him. There's Defender Strange, based on the Defenders comic book version of Doctor Strange in that different costume with the ponytail. And now at the end of the trailer, there's an even different version with a slightly different looking costume with some red accents that's weaving all this really crazy looking dark magic with these dark spirits coming out of him. He seems like a different version of Doctor Strange who's even worse, but rewatching the trailer a couple times, I think he might just be the same evil Doctor Strange, and this is just a full look at his costume in color. Because on the poster for the movie, there's only 3 different versions of Doctor Strange. There's also 2 versions of Scarlet Witch on that official poster, so I think these 2 versions of Scarlet Witch are the only 2 versions we see in the movie. It's almost hard to tell which one seems worse. Like, this one seems kind of evil, like she has blood all over her face, and she's fighting what looks like a Captain Marvel variant. But then we see our version of Scarlet Witch from the MCU in her brand new costume she got during WandaVision, acting very evil when she's going after Doctor Strange. So I think our version is meant to be the more villainous one, and this other version is just another one from another universe. In what looks like a version of Westview, like she's gone back to her home in Westview that she had with Vision, looking for her children, Billy and Tommy. But it sounds like they might be living with this alternate version of Scarlet Witch, just having a happy life, and she just completely breaks down. If you're a big fan of that Netflix Voltron animated series, Voltron Legendary Defender, they actually ended that series with a scene exactly like this, where Hagar becomes like the ultimate villain, goes to another universe to try and find a version of her family that's still alive, and it kind of goes down the way it looks here. Like, this version of Scarlet Witch seems like she's unable to steal Billy and Tommy from this version of Scarlet Witch. Like, she doesn't want to take them away from their happiness. It seems like they're happy here. If you ever wanted to see Doctor Strange's bedroom, this is what it looks like. When he's in his regular street clothes talking to Scarlet Witch about the multiverse, she directly mentions Vision. Also, when it seems like she's trying to trap him later, he's in those same clothes. So it sounds like at some point during this conversation, there's a big twist. And also, I believe what's going on here, when there's this giant attack on Kamar-Taj, this is Scarlet Witch coming to try and take America Chavez and force her to open portals to other realities so that she can find this other version of Scarlet Witch with Westview and Billy and Tommy. I believe the way they're explaining it is that Scarlet Witch in the MCU, even though she's super OP with her chaos magic, cannot travel physically to other realities, other universes. She can only do that with America Chavez's help, and that's why America Chavez is so important to the plot of the movie. Also why you see them forcing her here, like she's trapped, and they're trying to force her to open portals behind her here. Then you see Doctor Strange and America Chavez traveling through a bunch of different realities, like they're falling through what looks like a version of prehistoric Earth in some alternate universe. There's this dinosaur next to them falling through. If we're talking about big X-Men Easter eggs, maybe they'll do an Easter egg for the Savage Land. I think the only really unanswered questions are what's going to happen to this multiverse version of the Illuminati. Will they continue to be a presence in the MCU after this? And if they're messing with reality so much during the plot of this movie, when they fix everything by the end of the film, will that be the explainer for how a bunch of X-Men and mutants show up in the MCU? Like in putting all the pieces back together, will some other things sort of cross over, the way we see Patrick Stewart's version of Professor X showing up in the trailer? The funny thing about him coming back, too, is that he said that he talked to Kevin Feige a couple years ago after they got the Fox rights back and said that he declined to come back because his ending in the Logan movie, the Wolverine movie, was so good that he didn't want to trample on that. But I think the way around that, I think the way they convinced him is by telling him that this is a multiverse version of the character. So no, you're not coming back as exactly the same version. It's just a little bit different with a huge twist. The really cool Easter egg for this too is that the concept art for him coming back, his scene, has him in one of those floating chairs that looks exactly like his chair from X-Men the Animated Series, which they're also bringing back with new episodes on Disney Plus next year. So it is a really good time to be an X-Men fan, just a Marvel fan in general. They're kind of doing for X-Men in this movie what they did for versions of Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield in the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. So do not be surprised if there are a bunch of other special cameo scenes with other variants of big Avengers characters, other X-Men characters, even Fantastic Four characters. There's supposed to be some more Marvel footage later tonight, other Marvel Super Bowl trailers, so I'll try to do videos for everything. Make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss anything. And if you spotted any huge Easter eggs in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. Everyone click here for all my new Super Bowl trailer videos. I'll update the link as I post new videos. And click here for that brand new Marvel X-Men teaser. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.